What do you think about animal agriculture?
I think if you're doing it ethically and you're doing it in like a small farm and you're doing it in a way that's like not damaging to the animals necessarily, I could see it as being like an ethical thing, as ethically as you can do it.
This is going to sound like a callous question, but why does it matter? I agree with you, but I'm curious to hear how you.
I just feel like they're still living beings and like we should at least treat them with respect too.
So they're alive, they're conscious, they have feelings, they can feel pain, they can suffer. They would prefer to not be harmed. Those kind of reasons.
Yeah.
Whenever there be an ethical problem presented, one of my first questions would be like, well, why are we doing it? Maybe we're having this, maybe there's some tradition here at UBC where like, we do something and some people get hurt every year, like really badly hurt, but it's the tradition, so whatever. Okay, why are those people getting hurt? It's like the people who don't want to participate are getting hurt, then it would be like, I feel like there'd be an uproar, we wouldn't want to do it anymore. These animals are getting hurt, they don't want this to happen to them. So we're doing that to them. So it's being victimized. So then I feel like we needed a justification. Like logically speaking, like for that to be ethical, we'd need a justification for that. And it'd have to be a severe justification for a severe problem. Do you think there's a justification?
I think that's a really complicated question.
Can you give, how about one
Like
justification, just one justification? So you use words like as ethically as can be done, which is sort of you saying, well, it sort of is a bad thing, but we sort of have to do it. Is that how you feel about it, or?
Kind of. There's kind of an ethical dilemma there where it's like we are built to consume meat, like even though, but there's something that feels wrong about that, but like the way that we are currently adapted.
What do you mean by adapted and built? You mean like nutritionally, like you need
just
meat?
Biologically, like you don't necessarily need it, but it's like essentially the best source in almost every scenario. Like there is some research that looks at other things, and like of course there's a lot of different alternatives. So if you want to avoid it entirely, like 100% you can.
Can I ask what you mean by the best, like it's the healthiest?
Just the most readily available nutritionally, essentially, and it's the best absorbed.
Not a lot of fiber in meat.
Not
a lot of fiber in meat.
Not necessarily, but
so fiber wouldn't be the most readily absorbed.
No, it's not for all nutrients either.
Oh,
like,
okay.
You're not expecting to get every single thing from there. Yeah. It's like a very specific subset. It's more like on a protein basis, the types of proteins that you're specifically digesting.
So there's a lot of studies that have come out that have sort of shown that there's inflammation caused by eating meat.
Yeah, especially red meat.
Yeah, red meat is associated with colorectal cancer, diabetes, and heart disease.
Yeah.
Those are the sort of really big ones with red meat. Do you feel like there's like you're getting nutrients like densely, but you're also sort of sacrificing that?
Kind of. Especially, it depends also like what type of meat you're eating, because if you're eating pork, if you're eating chicken, you're gonna.
So it's not really necessarily healthy then, is it? It's just like you can get some nutrients.
That's kind of what it is. That's why like I didn't necessarily mention health as like a general term, because it's not really about that.
Sure.
I mean, I fully understand. I eat mostly plant-based already, because it's just like a personal choice that I've made for myself. Right. I eat some meat and some fish.
Pretty healthy too to eat plant-based. So.
It is. It's very good, especially if you are on an anti-inflammatory diet. It helps out. So.
Not the best at like thinking things off the top of my head when it comes to specific nutrients, but I know that all the science supports it. And the largest organization of dietitians and nutritionists in the world, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, has a position on eating plant-based, and their position that it's healthful, nutritionally adequate, and appropriate for all stages of life cycle. So whether you're pregnant, whether you're a child, whether you're elderly, or just an adult, it's appropriate and healthful to eat plant-based. That's their opinion on it. So, and they have a whole like thing where they like go through every nutrient individually too, and they're like, this is where you can get this, this is where you can get this. So it's like, okay, if literally thousands of nutritional experts making this organization seem to stand behind that, then they probably know more than I do. So it's probably helpful.
If we were to completely stop eating meat, then it would be better in a lot of specific ways. But unfortunately, the industry for farming and stuff like that is also extremely damaging.
Wait, so sorry, farming plants is extremely damaging? Or?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
That's what I'm trying to think of off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember, because I read an article about this, but this was ages ago.
Yeah. Because you need to grow plants to feed the animals.
Right? So
you're growing plants either way.
100%. Like the soil becomes unusable for a certain amount of time once you've done that.
You can cycle. You can cycle.
You absolutely can.
The largest environmental study on eating plant-based ever done found that it was not only about the environment, it's the single best thing you can do to reduce your impact on the environment. He wasn't vegan when he was making that study, but he went vegan after.
I've seen farms in like California where I also live. They're in these like silos together, and it's just like there is like urine and feces and everything
Yeah, it's factory
everywhere.
farming.
And oh, very much
Yeah.
so. It's awful. I have never seen anything as horrendous as that, to be honest.
I watched this documentary called Dominion. It's hell on earth, honestly. Like it's the most violent stuff I've ever seen. What to me was most surprising was the sheer number. In Canada, as I understand, the majority are factory farms.
I'm sure.
In the United States, it's 99%.
I could see that. I believe that,
Which is-
unfortunately.
What do you think is the kill count of animals per year in animal agriculture? Shouldn't even guess.
No clue.
Do you think that the higher the number would be, the more of a severity of issue it would be? Or would you prefer to kill one dog or 1,000 dogs?
It's kind of the same line,
Same thing.
right? Yeah.
So I would feel like it'd be more severe the more animals.
Yeah. I
Who
feel
are
like that's
killing
a fair
per
enough
year.
point. Yeah. It's 3 million. I don't know. It's probably way more than that, to be honest. But
3 is a good starting number.
oh boy.
You're missing 6 zeros. It's not 3 million. It's not 3 billion. It's 3 trillion.
Yeah.
Which is every 5 hours, I think, is more deaths than any humans have ever died in all wars, all conflicts, in all of history.
Hmm.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Some of that is from marine life.
Yeah.
But marine life are conscious too, right? Fish are conscious too. If you're just thinking about land animals, it's 70 billion per year, 80 billion, which is still
A lot.
Here's my question to you. If it is the case that we do not need to be doing animal agriculture, especially not factory farming, and it is the case that you feel that those things are not just wrong, but really wrong, like it was really hard for you to see the factory farming in California, I gather, and you have this awareness that 99% of U.S. products, a large majority of Canadian, I don't know the exact statistics, a large majority of Canadian products are factory farmed.
Hmm.
Then I'd really ask yourself if there's a justification, like you said, like you can't think of justification right now. Do you feel like there's any justification for what we're doing to animals in agriculture?
I mean, probably not. No. Like, realistically speaking.
It's good that you're able to be honest about that. I don't think most
Yeah.
people are able to be honest about that.
I don't. There's a lot of, I'd say, cognitive dissonance involved in it, where it's just like we kind of do it and we kind of separate the fact that we're eating meat from what's actually going on. Like, it's just what it is. Like, it's a reality that we're living in, and it's like there's people trying to change that, and I commend them for that. But like, it's not good. It's obviously not great.
Look into that environmental thing, and look into Challenge 22. That's my homework.
I'll do
You wanna
it. I'm
Challenge
ready.
yourself.
Because I feel like that's the only way that the world gets better, right?
If you want to ever create change, you have to really challenge yourself and others in your life if you want to do better. So this is a good conversation.
Well, thank you very much for the conversation.
Thanks.